Welcome to the Soft Vikings. A quest for meaning, purpose, and loyalty and love. I'm John, the lost son.
I'm Eric, the tyrannical father. Still in charge.
Still calling shots.
Still calling the shots
Yeah.
in every aspects of life.
Yeah.
They try to push me down, but I'm holding my ground.
Uh-huh. Who are they?
Like you,
Everyone
around me.
So it's the paranoid tyrant. Everybody's out.
You cannot be a tyrant for long if you're not paranoid.
Like Stalin, just get rid of all the generals.
But some of them he just he didn't kill all of them because he knew that sometimes he need them back again. That was learning from the Civil War after the revolution.
Yeah, the previous mistakes.
Yeah, they were like killing all the officers and everybody that were making progress in the Civil War was suddenly becoming a threat, of course. So their own commanders were shuffled around, but they didn't kill them because they knew that, okay, maybe if it's trouble, we need some skills here.
Like early retirement.
Yeah, or pushed aside.
Come back.
Yeah, or put to Sibir or something, and then they could call them back.
Same as happened in China recently.
Yes.
There's no one left to oppose. And then you don't have anyone to solve any problems.
Yeah, it's that personal trait to be able to oppose or to ask questions are often a mark of some skills you need, or some at least.
So would you prefer to be surrounded by yes men? Then?
I never managed that. Of course, I would prefer it, but yes men is boring. So
that's true.
I go for the entertainment value.
So that's
of being opposed, and then I have to crush them in other ways.
Saving grace.
Yes,
it's boring.
It's boring.
Yeah, because that's probably the downfall for many high achievers. If you suddenly just have people who agree to agree, because when you go wrong, you don't see it. Right?
No. So jeg må stoppe faen eller altså.
Oi. Okay, we're back. Short break.
Yeah, but you're fixing that in the redigeringa, gjør du ikke det?
Yeah.
Yes.
We can do that. Okay. So today we'll talk about have a little summary of the introduction. And so what do you think? How did it go?
I think that this the 5-factor model of the Big Five personality test. It's of course a tool. I think it's a fruitful tool. It's some I don't know if you should say problems, but you should be aware of something. But I think for our purpose, it's clarified some distinct differences in personality between me and you. And of course, there's a never-ending discussion about if we are born as we are or if the environment has made us. And of course, we always land that it's a little of both. Mm-hmm. But you and me are standing on some sort of a theory that we believe that it's some things in your personality that's pretty stable and and fixed. And then it's more about how you live with it and how you can grow with that as some sort of framework. But I think that it's been a very clarifying for me that I see that we have some sort of conflict, or that our personalities are, so different in some basic ways. And that's a tension, and that tension, at least until now, has been like a problem for me, but we can view it differently, like an option or a possibility to create some energy and to look into it as something positive instead of as an opening instead of a closing, or a way to grow instead of a conflict or a problem. I don't know how you look at that perspective.
Yeah, it's like a battery. You need to have a difference. That's what makes it a battery.
Yes.
But if you don't use it...
2 poles.
I guess it's... if it's not used in a constructive way, it becomes a problem in many ways.
Yeah, and
it's like an unused potential.
Yeah, because like if you can call it a conflict, like I am more goal-oriented, I'm a man of action, I don't really, care so much about others' feelings if they're standing between me and what I want to achieve. Get things done. I'm, not so emotional or not so afraid when it's blowing up and it's a storm. I can, still steer the boat.
Yeah.
And that approach is my basic approach, and then I am when I look at the world and people have different approaches, then you can sometimes put moral on it and say that my approach is a better one, or
you can always say that about oneself.
Yes.
And claim.
Yes. And
my position is correct.
My position is correct, and your position is not correct. And you are, as I have understood this test and my experience, you're more sensitive. You're a better listener. You are calmer. You can, accept the situation as it is more. You have more, what shall I say, capacity for that, and in more stable in the outlook, but not so action oriented, and that has some deep values also.
Yeah, because sometimes the best action is no action.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say when, of course. And a lot of people that share your personality have a big issue with not trying to fix things in a way.
Yeah.
And sometimes fixing it doesn't improve the situation.
Yeah,
this is the dilemma, right?
And sometimes it can't be fixed, or it shouldn't be fixed.
No, and then you are spending so much mental and physical energy in trying to change and fix things that can't be done.
Yeah, and you often miss out if it's a thing on the outside or the inside. Because if it's, you always will look outside. If you have this trait, you will very quickly look to solutions outside, that you want to change the world or optimize it.
If only.
Yes.
That's fixed.
Yes. but actually it's something inside that has to be
Yeah.
checked.
So it can never be fixed from the outside.
No, and so that's that is because we all are stirred up inside many times when reality is not what we like. Then we feel uncomfortable, or we feel some stress, or something is happening inside. But that is a pattern because we are reacting differently to the same situation. So something that happens in reality for some people can be accepted and okay, this is nice, and for others it's a disaster. And that's all, based on how they are inside, how they are, what their personality, what their experience, what sort of traumas you're having or carrying around with.
Indeed.
But with my personality, when you feel that, my instinct is to go out and fix it. Yeah. And many times that's the worst thing you can do, because then you're removing focus from these emotions, and you not are able to, sit with them and accept them and, solve them on an internal base.
And sometimes it can also make the problem worse.
Yeah, definitively. Yeah,
Because if it can't be fixed, even then you
no,
are
and then
and
yeah,
it just get
then
worse.
you have to try harder and fix more, and then it's like, okay, you don't feel so good, and then you think it's your wife because she's saying something stupid, right?
Yeah.
So you want to fix her and get her to understand that she shouldn't say all this stupid thing or do something stupid or annoy you or ask you for
Whatever triggers this emotions.
Yes, and then that trigger even more. So you double down and you start fighting with her, right?
Yeah.
And then you start, and then she fights back, and then it's like, here you go.
And then people become
And then
what they are labeled as.
Yes,
even.
yes, and then you can, if you're solution oriented, then it's okay, fuck you.
Yeah, or something like
Yeah,
that.
and I've done that many times.
I think it's a lot of you can manifest state or bring through it, bring your outlook on the world, and you can create it into reality.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Yeah,
so if you think other people are this way,
that's how we operate.
Then they'll become that way in the end.
That's to simplify it. And that's what I'm saying. It's easy to conflict your personal trait with moral, that you think it's the way you are is like good or right.
So this is not to jump ahead in the program we have today, but as for the future, we were talking about having this, doing some challenges for each other, and we'll see how it how it will display. But my point there is the art of viewing people and events and what happens in the most positive way. It's like you can take an event and you can put down the pros and cons, and then you just remove the cons, and you're just left with the pros, because that's the best possible look at the situation. And doing this positivity, especially with other people, it makes them better.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you gave them a chance to be the best version of themselves, or what they said, or whatever it is. Argue with your wife, you can say, oh, she said this. How could that be interpreted in the best possible way? Maybe she meant something nice, even though it's not true. But it's an exercise, because then you give the other person the opportunity to say, yeah, okay, that's what I actually meant.
Yeah. Yeah,
because people tend not to want to be negative.
Such
you
a
know?
therapeutic approach.
But it's a really interesting
you're
way
right.
because
You're right.
you're chronically going for the most dark negative interpretation of what people do and say. Usually, your first words out, in my experience, is usually a critique. It's rarely a compliment.
Yeah,
First thing you look for is what can I fix, and then stating the problem in the negative sense, right? Not like saying, you see someone and you say, "Oh, you're fat," instead of saying, "You have potential to
come
work
on,
out."
you're stretching it here.
No, I know this from personal
Fuck you.
experience. It's like if you haven't seen, it's very interesting. I don't know if you notice yourself,
Yeah, but
if you haven't seen
You're a
me,
special case.
yeah, okay, but if you haven't seen me, if say I saw you 2 days ago,
Yes.
you don't do this,
No?
or a week ago.
Yeah.
But if it's been, say, a month
Then
or
I'm
more,
saying that
then the first thing is
say,
some sort of critique.
you gain weight, or
You lost weight, you
Or
gain
you
weight,
don't look good.
need a haircut, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're finding something to
That's,
kind of put down the other person.
that's not. Yeah, I think you're right.
And maybe it's like a technique to
I
how
think,
to
yeah,
rule.
I think so, but I think it's double, because when it comes to you, it's like I want the best for you, and I see what the situation I see. I like. It's a pattern, of course, that has been established over years. Based on that, I'm not satisfied with you, or I'm hoping that you should be another, or that you should be achiever, or be more like me, or whatever shit, right? And then of course, it's also an element that you haven't been happy with yourself. We have to put that into the equation also. So in a way, you've also been asking for, I don't know, we all ask for being respected, I guess, or loved at the end. It's a cry for love, or take me as I am, or respect me, or see me, or so then maybe you can double down and do the opposite, really to be heard, or that you come with some values that are not valued, and then maybe you do more of the things that are not approved. I don't know how, it's complicated, but I think you're right that I'm always very, full of critique and finding negative things to focus on when it comes to you.
I'll bet you do it to yourself as well.
I think that's the deeper truth.
I would think so.
Yeah, I think that's my driver, that I'm never satisfied with myself, and then I have to approve and achieve and go and it's very tiresome, but
It's
keeps the fucking wheel going.
Exactly, and that's why in our culture in the West,
it's approved. It's
but who's putting a lot of value on this is the ones who doesn't do it, because they don't know, they don't see the price, the costs.
No,
they just see the result.
Yes,
and think that seems great.
Yes,
I wish I did that. And then okay, try a day in my shoes. It's see how that feels. So you go back to your couch immediately. So this is the issue with this high achieving. It's usually they're driven, and it's like how many demons are actually chasing you to do things. And I think a lot of motivation from many people comes from a negative, not a positive.
I think you're right, and then to Yeah,
There's positive elements.
yeah.
I'm not saying
I'm just trying. If you look back and how humans are, come into play, and
not to go extinct.
yeah,
Like the prime driver, right?
It's a prime driver. It's no, it's okay. You're a hunter. You have to find the fucking animal.
Yeah, or else it's over.
It's an achievement. You cannot just sit there. Yeah, you have to go. Is that a negative approach?
It's not for the applause. It's to not die of hunger.
Yeah.
Which is a demon.
Yes, in a way.
And everybody knows that. What are we gonna do for dinner today?
Yes.
It's an eternal question.
Yes.
It's always hard.
Yes.
Unless you.
So
it's got to be answered.
So demon is a good word, but a demon is that is it good demons, bad demons?
Oh well, that's a.
But
like
demon
a theological.
for me sound like bad or
Well, demon is a fallen angel.
yes, isn't it? Yes. Yeah. So
it's a very powerful image. You might call it something else, but
yes.
I like the picture of a demon because it gives you an out. It's not your fault.
In a
That's
way,
the point.
Another way to say it is that we have a lot of split personalities or a lot of aspects in ourselves. And a lot of this, I think I also like the demon metaphor. It's like there's a lot of forces in you that you're not aware of.
Yeah, and the aspect of using the word demon is also it's hidden.
Yes.
So you got to bring it into view, or else you are driven by things you don't know.
So it's like the troll myth. If you take the troll, get it out in daylight, it will just burst and disappear.
True. However, the goal is not to remove the demons; it's to be able to control them.
Yeah, be friends with them.
Yeah, accept your demons,
Yes.
and because sometimes they are very useful. It's like getting angry.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to get angry.
It's
self-defense.
very important. Yeah.
But not to let that anger demon go off
berserk
all the time.
No.
Then you're
when
not
we are
in
white and
control.
go berserk, we do it in special occasions. you
get
know.
that special occasion. Yeah, and I think that's been I've been doing a lot of strange things in my life, but I have been through a lot of self-discovery and introspection, and
but you have
especially useful under pressure,
Yeah.
in hard times.
Yeah. But
'Cause
you
that's
have
when it's
different demons than me.
Yes, but I have some of the same ones, and I think the demons is also something that's passed down through the generations.
Yeah, but the way I see it, when your demons are like taking charge of you, they make you retreat, go away, close down.
Yeah, for example.
Yes. But for me, it's like I go frenetic, I go on offense, I critique, I fight, I move stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And in society, that's looked at sometimes, even if your methods are harsh, and then you're like a productive person. You're
Depends what you are fixing.
yeah.
It can be. That's
Yeah,
luck
but
of the draw there. It's
yeah, you're not a gangster, or yeah. For me, it's been creating business and building houses.
But it could have easily been something else.
Yeah.
It's the same force.
Yeah,
and
it could
that
could be more destructive.
bit of
that's-
reckless.
Yeah. So you can say that's a blessing, or that's pure luck. That
The same way that the police and the criminal are usually very alike.
yeah,
They're just different jobs.
yeah,
Same
different,
person.
same. Yeah, they are in the same market at least.
Yeah, they have a lot of the same
Yeah.
personality traits.
Yes.
Let's say. And no, so you could say from the outside, your personality and how you lived life is like one of the better outcomes from your personality. It could have
Much worse.
gone much worse, because like this rule breaking, not conforming, it can get you in trouble, big trouble,
Yeah.
because society tend to try to ostracize those kind of
Yeah,
people.
they don't need too much of it.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, but they need some of it.
Yeah, and that's another point. The need to have radical people who don't agree and follow, and they can be very dangerous because they can be wrong, and
Yes.
then you have an issue.
That's true.
But sometimes they're right, and then it's beneficial.
Yeah, and it's always good to have those people because they're creating a discussion.
Yeah, and this is the
And of course, if it's that's what moves. I think that's the greatest gift of man, that he can discuss. That's very, embedded in Judaism, that they can have a discussion with God, so they can dispute with him.
Yeah, it's more like how long do they take before they execute you? The longer, the better. But they probably will.
Yeah.
This is
But you're taken out anyway at the end of the day. So
exactly. That's too radical.
fuck. Yeah,
You're an issue.
So, but no, I always been a rebel.
Yeah. But I think I also have that in me.
Yeah.
That at least I don't
Freedom
mind.
seeker.
Yeah, I value freedom, and I don't like when other people don't have the chance either. If someone steals people's freedom, I feel that that's something to fight against.
But I think that the eye opener for me, when we have started this, is that the way you handle things are very valuable in some situations, and useless in others, and the same for me.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of that, we can that difference are a conflict and a problem. It could be the total opposite. It could be a source for enrichment and growth, because it's two ways to see it. One is if we are a team, which we are now, right? We are on a journey, a quest together.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have to meet the world as a team. And then there is a very strength in that, because sometimes you are in a situation you cannot do anything with. And then this action guy is a problem.
Yeah, he gotta be like, you gotta go in the back, bro.
Yeah.
Relax now.
Yeah.
You're not in charge right now.
No.
We gotta wait until the
Yes,
storm is up.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
And another time, time for doing things.
time for doing things. I agree totally, and that I think this comes down to something that's been I felt in my life a lot, and we are very social animals.
Yeah, and that's
we need the group.
That's the modern problem.
And lacking the group is
that's
painful.
That's the big modern problem and political problem. It's individual versus group.
And we're not individuals. We
Not at
don't
all.
thrive.
Not at all. We have a very individualistic approach these days, but still the individual are the main entity of moral, of action, of everything. A group cannot do anything. A group is an abstract.
Yeah. You can say that.
Yeah.
Sure.
But we are part of a group, and we cannot do a shit without all the others. So that's to really, handle this different of concept, individual and group, is something I think we have to talk a lot of, or discuss a lot.
This individual
Because-
idea is a strange concept because you cannot exist by yourself.
No.
You can't create yourself. This is impossible. So why are you an individual? It doesn't really make any sense
No,
because you can't create yourself. So you're not like a
but human,
exists.
we are starting to think that with all the technology that we can.
It's consciousness
Yes.
more, and we don't really know what that is, but
No.
it creates the feeling and the illusion of self, which
Yes.
is that I am apart from other things. But when you go down to it, it's like, okay, so what are you made of?
Yeah.
You made of trillions of cells and 10 times as many bacteria. Okay, we're one.
Yeah.
It's like, what? It doesn't. So when you start to break it down, it doesn't make any sense. But
No.
we still have that feeling.
Yes,
And in the West, it's been
emphasized.
emphasized a lot, and to the point of being counterproductive.
Yeah, I think so.
Because how fun is it to have your Sunday brunch alone in peace for 20 years? You're kind of missing out.
Yeah, that's
You
Jay.
need your family
Yeah.
or a group.
And I think that's because this emphasis on human rights, individual rights, is also an missing out of the need of each other. So it's very interesting that this group or a tribe or societal, the focus on the collective as an opposite to the individual is typical a left in political spectrum, left perspective. And the focus on the individual person is like a right, that the individual person can act and change and grow whatever start position you have. And the other position is that it's all about your starting point, and it's all about to create structures that can, level the playing field and giving everybody the right opportunities.
Yeah, that is fascinating. It's I think it's comes back to a lot of when consumerism was invented after the end of World War II, because every individual is a consumer. So
Yeah,
you can
and
kinda promote.
this individualism is also, it's much easier to govern if you have atomized individuals.
That too, you can say, like, to control people.
Yes,
If they are more
but
separated.
So we are into this, and I'm maybe not so clear, but in when it comes to team or me and you, and not you and me and you together is another thing than me operating isolated from you.
Mm-hmm.
And when we have a conflict, then it's like my feeling of an individual that's in opposition to you because there is something that stirs me because you are not the way I supposed or wanted to be, and blah, blah, blah. We've been through that. But if I see that me and you are together, we're more like one.
Exactly. If it's a team,
Yes.
you look at it as a whole.
Then it's not a conflict, and it's a potential for growth, and it's being stronger because I can, learn, or I can take in your perspectives.
Yeah,
And
and you utilize each other's strength
Yes.
and become. Well, it's like the sum is greater than its parts.
Yes.
Kind of thing, right?
Yes.
There's not and that's what teams are. That's what groups are. Instead of now we should make you do what you're bad at all day long until you get better, which is a weird notion. when you've grown up. Okay, for a kid, but it's like okay, like Hans over there. He's terrible at talking to girls. Now we're gonna make him talk to girls every
Yes,
day. And it's
yes.
like maybe we should just hook him up,
Yes.
help him,
Help him. Yes.
and he can do what he's good at.
Yes.
Because
And that's this terrible thing also with this modern life and this individual focus that you can be whatever you want, or you have all the options, and it's like
and it's terrifying because then you have to
one
be
thing is
everything.
terrifying, but it's not true. You have
not true, right?
limitations.
It's not true.
You have limitations, and it's very much about luck, or it's about how you're. Where are you put in life? From whom are you
And then
coming? And so you have a starting point. And if we don't accept that and build on that, we're doomed.
Yeah.
And if we emphasize on that, it's not fair, or we should be, everybody should be equal, and we're just creating so much problems that doesn't need to be there, because
No,
see me and you. It's
there we go.
Yeah, we have.
You wanted me to be equal to you.
Yeah.
And that
and
doesn't
that
work.
has ruined me a lot, and it's not been good for you either.
No. And
But you should be a little more like
a
me.
little more. Exactly. There's always a hope.
But there's also hope. This
No,
is a
but-
big
but-
hoax. I
but
just want
Some
get you
improvements.
in closer, and then okay, got you.
Yeah. No, but I think to aspire and to strive for other people's qualities on the positive side, it's useful. That's how you try to get better.
Yeah.
But to copy the whole personality, maybe not such a good idea, because then you get the other. And I get your demons as well. You don't need to copy the demons necessarily. Copy the.
No,
copy the good
I
things.
think we share some of the same demons. I mean, I also have this tendency, or this in me, to try to escape.
I don't think that might be a demon. I think that's shared by all people.
Okay, so
Because
everybody.
the desire to get away from
Yes.
from yourself
Yes.
when things aren't, and that's what do we call the opposite of that? That's like labeled as the flow state,
Yes.
where you have no desire to
No.
get away from yourself,
Oh.
and then you're in the zone, in the flow.
Yes.
But that's rare.
That's rare, but it happens.
It can happen, and
It happens for all of
people.
us.
It's a really nice feeling.
Yes, and it's something you can aim against.
Yeah, that's in the same way that you can practice not to escape so much.
Yes.
But the catch-22 is that a lot of those things are also escapes.
Yes. That's
Like meditation can
Yes.
easily be an escape,
Yep.
as well as. So it's tricky.
it's fucking tricky, but that's the beauty.
That's the beauty.
And that's why we want to go out sailing. But the important thing, if you want to go out on a quest and a journey, you cannot have your boat, towed to the anchored up. You have to let go.
You have to just go.
Yeah,
At
you
some
have to
point, you
cut the rope
say,
and start
"Good enough.
sailing. Yes.
Good enough."
Yes.
and as a artistic project or
And,
any
yeah.
creative project,
You have to dare.
at some point you have to say
Yeah.
finished.
Both finished, and you have to dare. You don't control everything. You have to say, okay, I go there. Let's see what's happened.
So
To go on an adventure. I think that is so important, and that is something also with this consumer tight modern world. We're all individuals, and which we of course are and not. And that is okay. Where is the adventurous persons, or where adventure? Where do you find adventure? It's not adventurous to consume, or
no,
to,
it's not, because they're like approved and tested.
Yes,
if you approve experimental drugs,
Yes.
you're on an adventure. But what's they sell at the supermarket? There's no adventure.
No, you
There's
maybe
no
can
risk. There needs to be risk.
mix it up so it in a
You
cocktail.
you can make an effort,
Yes.
but you think outside the box. There,
Yes.
you can go off. No, but I think you're on to something that, especially like in Norway, people live such sheltered, protected life. So the adventure that used to just come from day-to-day survival
Yeah,
is gone.
from nature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like, are we
Yeah.
gonna make it?
Yes.
That's an adventure
Yes. That's
because you
good.
have risk
Yeah.
and reward. We
Yes.
made it.
Yeah.
That's pretty good enough.
Yeah.
And when you just remove that, what are you left with? Like from my generation, you can. There's the reason like why video games
Yes.
are popular or social media,
Yeah.
because they give you like a light, a shadow version of the real thing.
Yes.
You are on an adventure,
Yep.
but it's inside the outside of yourself,
Inside
the machine.
inside comfort and safety.
Or you can do the social media.
Yes.
You are on a social adventure,
Yeah.
but it's very much safe.
Yes. No, it's like sailing without cutting the rope on the anchor.
Yeah,
You get the feeling.
bicycle with the
It's
helping
like
wheel.
being in the boat in the harbor.
Yeah, yeah. You're like sitting in the boat,
Yes.
but you never leave the dock.
You never
it's
leave
like,
the dock.
okay, yeah, you're kind of out sailing on the
Yeah,
sea, but
yeah.
you never. That doesn't really. It's not the real thing.
No, doesn't count.
And it's terrifying to do the real thing, like we're doing this podcast.
That is scaring.
You can. It's
Or
it's
scary.
scary. It's scary because there's a risk.
Yeah,
And
the-
we
and,
unknown.
I will be exposed for my bad English.
Yeah, that's we're gonna. Hopefully, it will improve
Yeah,
in the future.
Yeah, you're sweet.
And I think
it
that
will, of course.
practice makes
It's
perfect.
more the pronunciation than the vocabulary.
That is. We'll hope people forgive us in the beginning.
Yeah.
and
We
we'll
are.
get there.
We have some ambitions. We are Vikings. We want to conquer the world. It's not enough to be the big guy in the local community. And Norway is small. We are 5 million people, 5 million plus. So the audience are, and we are also it's hard to be prophet. I'm not saying that we are doing some prophet things, but it's hard to be prophet in your own country.
True.
Yes.
Difficult.
And what we are aiming at is to see how much we can grow by going on a quest together as a team.
Yeah, and like this.
But then you have to do some training first, right?
Of course, a lot of quests on the way.
So maybe that's how we can look at it, that we have to do some preparations.
Well, there's been a while of preparations now, and but the main goal, that's why we started doing this, is to kind of at least now we agreed to build a team.
That's something.
And if you go back a year, we didn't talk
at all.
Yeah, so the difference is already quite large.
Yes.
It's hard. I mean, I think that's a very useful practice, because day to day it's so hard to separate life, because usually yesterday is quite the same as today. But if you manage to okay, let's wind back a year or
have
two,
to make some contrasts to see
and then
things
you're like,
clearer.
wow,
Yes.
wow, I was that
If
person.
everything is gray, you don't see anything. So you have to create some black and white.
So the mission of how can a father and son, I would almost say, grow up together,
Yep.
and become like functional team. And of course, there's going to be an element of father and son always. But I'm not 12 no more, and I will never be.
No,
So it's like that train.
It's like I'm just searching a little. It's the hard part for me is that I'm confronted with a lot of things that I've done when you was small or a child or adolescent that I really see was like, oh, is it possible to be that stupid or that cruel or whatever, right? That was today I wouldn't done it that way, but I didn't do it out of evilness, or I did it because I thought it was the right thing to do. And then you can be overwhelmed with the feeling of guilt and shame because you've done this stupid, awful thing that has harmed your child or that given them traumas, or and failed to educate them, and that I think is a very common thing, and it's I think it's in all relations, father-sons, more or less, right?
Yeah, I think it's unavoidable.
Yes, and then suddenly it's a result because your child is not a child anymore, and then it's two ways to go around with it. One is that we have done since you are 40 now or 41. It's to continue this tension.
Yeah, repeat the pattern.
Repeating the pattern.
Yeah.
And the other is to say, okay, let's start growing. Let's look into this. Is it possible to not to redo it, because that's never possible, but to take reality in and embrace it and see that there is some value in everything. As long as we live, there is a possibility. And as long as we want to or are able to be open and take in what's painful, not fight against it and not suppress it, but sit with it. Because you had the pattern when thing was painful and difficult, you suppressed it by escaping, go to isolation, go to drugs, denying, don't opening envelopes.
Just ignore it.
Yeah, just get out of life in a way.
Yeah.
And be able to function in that position.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's a tough thing to do, and it's really requires some strength.
Get some mental training in that situation.
Yes. But then suddenly you wake up to reality, and you have to face it.
Yeah, it's not the best strategy all the time, I would say.
No.
So for a few things in life, but for many things, it's. I wouldn't advise.
I have always read this totally strange, because I've read it as that you have. I haven't seen that this is something you have done to protect yourself, or it's like it's the same. It's easy. You put moral on things that there is not any moral on it. It's more like, okay, there's a reason for it.
Yeah, it's like how to cope with life.
Yes,
I think.
But our strategies are.
And they don't.
No, it don't.
Many people don't.
No. So your flight and I fight, and sometimes none of them are good actions. It's just to sit still.
Yeah, that's the tendency. But I mean, sometimes you escape too. And
of course.
sometimes
I think I skip.
kind of
Yeah.
fight as well.
Yes.
It's more of picking your battles, but that can't mean pick none. You have to show up to some battles. That's the point. But you can't fight them all.
No.
So the balance act is
The guerrilla
is
tactic is to, you know, not
fight the few.
Yeah, and not with all force.
But that's the art of war, the Sun Tzu. The best way to win the war is without fighting it.
Yes.
And still win.
Yes.
Then you succeed.
Then you succeed.
This is the best success in his words, right?
Yes.
Because
Or bring the fight to the enemy.
yeah, there's many ways, but sometimes you can. If you.
Yeah, I think that's the
understand
way.
your enemy enough, you don't have to fight.
I think why we have this ceasefire or the negotiations we are having now is
pre-raiding.
Yeah. Is that I have your method is exhausted my energy for changing you or
temporarily reprieve, I would say. It's gonna come back with a vengeance.
Yes.
When you hit shore again. This is why the Viking metaphor is such a good one, because
when you're out sailing, there's different rules.
There were teams, then you were a
but
team.
It's always
and
that.
Then when you finished the quest.
But it's still that a little, because a captain on a ship, he is
still have
all the rules. All the rules, all the means he can do what is necessary. And that's why mutiny is seen such a bad thing to do, mutiny. Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But that's the rules when you're sailing.
Yeah.
But when you are on shore, he's nothing, or he's a captain, but he's all his.
Well, if the sailors are not on the boat,
yeah, all his power is taken away. It's new rules. So I have, when we're out sailing, I have to do, but just wait until we're back home.
Get back home.
Then,
yeah. So. No, I think we'll see. But that's so we can use that. That's
typical, you know, in a marriage when the guy is like suppressed and he's out and suddenly he feels free and he goes wild and he's okay.
But this is kind of why it's also so important to have a mission, a quest, a task for the group. And that's why if we don't have it, we'll create one.
Yep.
And that's what nation builders understand, that if you don't provide a quest, a mission for your people, they will stop being a people.
Yeah, or they
just
will
fall apart.
Yeah.
Start to infight.
Yeah, and then the easiest one is to find an enemy.
Yeah, and in external,
of course,
preferably,
because then
the internal is
unit. Then internal, then it's often a split.
It's so hard. Yeah.
Or if it's internal, but like a distinct group, like the Jews.
So I see
that's why the Jews has been such a blessing for all the tyrants.
Scapegoat.
Yeah, because they are dressed alike and they stick to their religions, and you can identify them in some ways, and you can also hang some traits on them that we don't like, that they're greedy or they're taking all the money or blah blah blah.
I think you're right there, and I observed it's happy times in Norway and many places now for people, because now due to the Russia-Ukraine conflict, you have a like a clear enemy.
Yep, clear
people
picture.
love it.
Yep, they unify.
It's like there are bad Russians.
Yes,
disregarding the complexity of the reality of it, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to go into it, but people love to have this uniting factor. We need an enemy.
Yeah.
Or else we'll make one.
And the Russians are easy to paint bad.
And this is what we've probably been doing to each other.
Yes.
Since we haven't had a common quest and something to do as a mission, we just become each other's enemies.
Yep. Yeah. And then that's also, a modern thing. Then when family breaks up, you don't have a family mission or something we do together. And okay, what's the family mission? Yeah, let's go camping or let's
meet and have a dinner once a year.
And what the fuck is that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like nothing, and we don't have a farm we have to deal with together, and we don't. So family
No
business.
mission.
Yeah, family business is actually
And that's been vilified and
yes.
painted in like a bad colors. And
Yeah, for the big corporates, they don't like that.
no, it's competition.
Yes, they
And
don't
they
like.
make people who think them like do their own thing and don't conform.
And that's the appealing of the mafia also, right? It's like a family thing.
But that's why they're also a threat,
yeah,
kind of, to society.
and appealing.
Appealing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we are onto something there, and that's what humans do, and higher primates also is immediately create small groups,
Yes.
in group, out group, which probably explains all kind of racism, all kind of discrimination. It's all in group, out group.
Yeah.
And as long as I can identify some people as an in group, I have to make an out group. And I don't like those people.
Because
I don't like those things, those ideas, whatever it is. We need an enemy. That's we're bred to have an enemy. Conflict.
And to have your son as an enemy is in all literature and religion and everything. It's a tough one.
It's the hardest one, because then you are.
He will take you.
No, and you're also fighting against your own legacy and purpose as a like an organism.
Yes. And that's why we always find it appalling in a way, this family conflicts.
The lack of loyalty.
Yeah. Especially when they are fighting over inheritance.
Yeah, that's also crazy. Like that, it breaks apart the thing it was made to support, and it becomes like absurd. It becomes very tragic in many ways.
And then we're over to another thing called private property, right? Because is it possible to have a family or build something if you don't have private property? I guess.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's been done, before.
Yeah, but
don't
not
have
private, but
property.
private then the group's property.
Well, then it just
But
means
you always
private property means that whatever you can keep a dominance over yourself.
yes,
You can't outsource. Private property is just outsourcing. You get an external force like
Yes.
the police to enforce your dominance over something. And that's like amplifying it.
yeah,
You would have no Bill Gates without police.
without the U.S. Marine.
Or yeah, for example, right? It wouldn't be possible.
No.
Because you can't be 5 places at the same time watching your stuff.
No.
You would go mad. It's like, oh, I gotta go to my other warehouse. Shit. Oh my God, I gotta run. You would go mad.
Not possible.
No. Then you
But then you're back to
bananas.
loyalty. Yeah. So, but that's the modern setup, that it's possible to expand under the security umbrella of the state. And
It's a big confidence game. It's
Yes.
a con game. Because, of course, it's not real. But as long as enough people believe, it works. It's like in any city. If enough people start to want to break a rule,
yeah,
the police cannot stop it.
no,
Because they're not enough.
no, they will never be.
They can never be. I
So
think,
they have to internalize it, and then
yeah, or ignore. Then they start to, we don't enforce that law. I think the breaking point is about 3 to 5, more than 3% of a population. If they start to say no, it's over. You can't stop them. It's impossible. You need compliance.
yeah. But that's why it's hard to be a team, because then it's
I mean,
everybody has the right of veto in a way.
yeah, but that's a strange thing about being in a nation state, is that your team members are mostly unknown.
Yep.
And it's weird.
And but
Super strange.
Yeah, and but you give them trust because
Yeah.
they are.
You give them loyalty.
Yeah, because they are in your nation.
Have you jersey?
Yes,
And
but that's also
the
you know
strength too.
super strength because then you can cooperate.
Yeah. So then you're not an
And then-
individual anymore. You
no.
are a citizen.
Yes,
Or
in a group.
I'm a
And,
Norwegian.
and that's why all this group thinking and identity and everything, everybody wants to play with that because if you are able to create a group or create an identity that have an internal loyalty and also are seeing you as the leader or we are the elite of it, it's a powerful tool.
Mhm.
And the states are not so easy, or a nation state is not so easy to take control over. So therefore,
No.
all the want maybe groups that are cutting across the nations and can be an alternative.
Yeah, the classical divide and conquer.
Yeah, or that you are identifying across nations or you're by sex or bisexual
So
race.
The British playbook
Yes.
is if you need to create nation states, but you don't want them to get too strong, you just include a lot of
No,
it's a nice
the British
country.
trick is they take a
Africa.
minority. They take a minority
Yeah.
and lift them.
But then you need to have a minority there. So you make this.
They take a local minority and lift them.
You make the ruler on the map, and you
Yes.
say this is now a country.
Yes.
It's just like, okay, where's the river? Oh, we don't care.
Yeah.
The river is in the middle somewhere.
I thought that was a French trick, at least in the Middle East.
I think they all did it.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the map of Africa,
Yes.
it's the only continent where all the other countries all around the globe are like going
Natural
through
borders.
natural borders, rivers, mountains.
But that's
And then Africa, square, your square, my square.
yeah.
It's a madness how they.
But that's just
Haven't
we're
changed.
zigsawing. We're just dancing around here. We maybe have to go for landing soon. But that's also one of the big challenge in Europe, that there is no natural border between East and West or between Russia and the rest of Europe.
There's some rivers.
And yeah, but not. It's flat.
Well, yeah, you don't have the mountains.
No, and not some really. The rivers are there. They're not really cutting through in the system because there's. So that's why this push from east to west and west to east has been going on for.
Yeah, it's easier
Thousands of
to go
years.
that way than.
Yes. And there's. I don't know if that ever will be really settled, or. The Germans are smart and have too little room and too
Unify
few,
Eurasia.
few
That's the-
resources. Yes, and the Russians
Been
are
the idea of many people.
not so smart.
If I have it all.
Well, they are not stupid, but they're
Well, it's like America.
yes,
It's a continent.
Yes.
And if you control the whole thing,
yes. That's why America is easy, because they have sea on both sides.
yeah,
and
they
a clear
have
border to Mexico.
And
or
weak
it's not-
allies.
Yes, and weak allies. Yeah,
on the both north and south,
yes,
they dominate completely.
completely.
Yeah, I mean, Canada can never wage war against US.
No, and they're
They
too
would
soft.
never go. No, they don't have. And to be frank, I don't think they're even allowed to build up enough,
No,
even to go there.
I think so. They are a little brother.
Yeah, they're a little brother, as we are to little Norway.
Yeah, we are.
Little brother to Sweden and
Yeah, that's one.
Denmark
but,
and
but
Europe.
we are the teacher's pet so far. We are allowed to do a lot of stupid things and still be in the class.
well, it's the advantage of being small enough to be considered quite harmless.
Yes, and
The-
and having such a strategic position.
Yeah, but we're not a challenge if something happens.
So we can be
So-
out there and taking care of this strategic position, inhabit it, and
like
have
the-
the oil and don't pay for the security and behave a little wild because
So like that rich, crazy little stupid friend you got, you like to invite to parties because he always brings so much champagne. and stuff.
and pay
But
for
you can just
pay for the
kick him
girls.
out.
Yes,
He's so dependent.
yes. Okay, on a
Very
happy
small.
note.
Small country. Okay, so we I think this is gonna be the last episode of this intro series, and
We start sailing.
then we start
Or maybe some
doing some
preparing
questing.
when it comes to. Maybe we do that in open sea or in the harbor. We have to discuss that.
Sometimes you got to repair at sea.
Yes,
Sometimes
that's how it
you
is.
seek a harbor.
Yes, if
Hopefully
you can.
it's not hostile.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know. So we'll looking forward to the
Yes.
future.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.